Are you feeling that sadness that comes along with the crypto market being down again? Well, I don't blame you at all. But I am still of the firm belief that altcoins will create generational wealth before this bull market is over. Today, I'll uncover charts that I've never shown before, data that will make the saddest person smile, and overall just connect the dots so that you know I firmly believe the biggest bull run we've ever seen in crypto is still ahead of us. Bear with me to the very end because I do want to show you this chart here, which was a survey conducted asking investors what they thought the most profitable and risk-adjusted asset class was back in 2024, and most respondents said cryptocurrency. This is a very, very insightful and bullish chart, and also this one, which might actually give us a strong indication of when we can expect alt season. But first of all, I wanted to start this video by just giving you some reassurance at what typically happens in this crypto market. If you're new, this is very important for you to listen to especially. Here's how this market works, unfortunately. Okay, we have centralized exchanges like Binance and Coinbase, are two obvious names. And we have these guys called market makers, okay, the MMs here. Now, market makers are the guys who help keep the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum and so on liquid. And what I mean is, if I want to trade Bitcoin, okay, if there's not enough money in the Bitcoin pair with USD, I'm not going to be able to sufficiently trade that. Okay, so these market makers help keep these markets liquid. Now, these guys, as you can see, thanks to Marty Party, on chain, we can see them sending each other stable coins. And also even Solana, Ethereum, XRP, and Bitcoin. What does this mean? What we're looking at here is effectively market manipulation. These parties work together to help flush out longs and shorts in Bitcoin's price. It's how we're able to see, massive moments like these to the high and to the low. So you can see this is the liquidation Bitcoin heat map, and these bright yellow areas are shorters and longers down here. And so what happens is, why this actually occurs, is if you have Binance and Coinbase having to pay out a whole bunch of people who are betting on the market going up, so longers, okay, they have to pay these guys out. They have to pay out a lot of money. So they don't want to do that. What they do is they use macro headlines. For example, Trump recently renegotiating, reestablishing a whole bunch of the tariffs. We also had pretty bad employment data in the US as well. Bad headline information, but they use this to help pull down the Bitcoin price or pull up the Bitcoin price, and good news, to clear out all of these longers or shorters. They don't have to pay them out anymore, which is good because they save themselves a lot of money. In most cases as well, they do rack up the trading fees, which is fantastic for them. And it's actually good for the market as a whole. And I'll tell you why. While it is manipulation and it's not good because we're going down, not up right now, okay? Essentially, if we have longers longing the market way down at these prices, well, what do you think they're going to do up here? They're going to take profit. And when they take profit, we don't have small dips. We have large dips. That's what we have at the blow-off top moments of every cycle, okay? So we essentially have not just the longers up here, but we also have the guys who are buying spot, right? Buying on the open market directly down here, also taking profit. That's why we have these massive dips. So it's kind of important on the way up that we do have this play out, as bad as that really does sound. The good news is that they also want to take out the shorters. So these are the shorters up here. These are the guys who are betting on Bitcoin or ETH going lower. So when we actually have Bitcoin going down and clearing out the longs, eventually, in a bull run, they're going to want to clear out the shorters as well. So it's healthy to come down, clear them out, then go up for a higher base, a higher floor. So in these moments where the market suddenly drops down with a little bit of bad, macro headline news or a bit of bad crypto news, maybe there's Bitcoin miners being banned in China for the 10th time, whatever it may be, they use these headlines to help pull the market down, as they will also use the bullish headlines to really rapidly advance the market upwards and therefore clear out the shorters as well. So in my opinion, guys, keep a level head at these moments. Sometimes in these bull markets, it's better to look more week to week or month to month than it is day to day. Here's why I believe we are still good for liftoff. Number one, one is patterns. Now, we can see some of these patterns playing out here in regards to dominance. So Bitcoin dominance likes the top here, around about 65 to 70%. You can see back in 2021, even as far back as 2017, okay, before the massive altcoin rush. And we've topped again in this area as well. Ever so slightly, I must admit, but we have topped. And it's also come at a very important time because Bitcoin dominance just topping, okay, is one thing. But if that also occurs, like back here in 2019, where we see ETH reach the range lows like it did, and altcoins reach the range lows as it did down here as well, that's an indication that we've likely had a top, okay, and we are likely going lower. Now, in the case back there, we did have Bitcoin kind of come up once again and touch this point in time. So we can't particularly phase out entirely the fact that Bitcoin may not come back up here. It could definitely happen. We don't know. But the fact that we have had both Bitcoin touch the top, ETH again reclaim these range lows like it hadn't done since back in 2019, and also altcoins reach these range lows again, then I do believe we've mostly had the difficult part of waiting through this Bitcoin only season. It's likely going to be alt season here to some point in the next 6 or 12 months. It's hard to know exactly when at this point in time, but it is coming. Not to mention, we've actually seen a bit of the flow-on effect from phase 1 being Bitcoin season to phase 2 being ETH season. And of course, this means phase 3 and phase 4 is not long away. And what I'm talking about here is Bitcoin versus a group of altcoins. So this orange line at the very, very top here, this is actually Bitcoin's price. Now, Bitcoin's price since back in September of 2024 has outperformed altcoins, every group of altcoins. So again, Bitcoin's over here at the very, very top. Next, the top 20 altcoins have outperformed the yellow here, which is the top 21 to 100. And the top 21 to 100 have vastly outperformed the red line here, which is top 100 to 200. So basically page 2 on CoinMarketCap. Now, these guys have also outpaced the bottom 201 down to 1,100 coins in green and blue down here. So again, let me just remind you, we have not had phase 3 or phase 4 play out just yet. Matter of fact, Bitcoin is still technically in the lead. You know, Bitcoin is still beating the top 20 coins right now, as you can see. So it is not really phase 2 yet. Definitely not phase 3 or phase 4, which is alt season. Without blowing the smoke up your butt, this is not designed to create FOMO or hopium. This is designed to just read the charts and show you why I've been bullish while everyone else was raging at me the last 12 months to be bearish. And here we are again. Everyone's deciding to be bearish again, and I'm still here being bullish, and I'll show you why. All right. Number 2, whale patterns. Guys, smart money. They tell you everything. And in crypto, we're fortunate enough because we can see on chain, like again, thanks to Marty Party here for pointing out the manipulation in front of our eyes, we can see what's happening, right? And so this is long-term holder market inflation. So this green line here, to cut a long story short, is essentially how much are long-term holders of Bitcoin contributing to the Bitcoin inflation rate. This is the Bitcoin inflation rate right here. This is where the Bitcoin is mined up over the course of time from, securing the network. And how much are long-term holders buying or selling to contribute to this inflation rate? If this goes down, it's a good thing. That means they're buying, they're removing from the inflation rate. If this goes up, that means they're selling, they're adding to the inflation. Now, this has been on a good downtrend ever since the start of the year, around January 2nd. Great. But we've had a slight uptick here recently since about July 5th. Is this a worrying sign? Not really, okay? Unless this continues to trend above this line right here, which is over the 0 point, then it is a slight warning sign because every time it does, it usually signals the top of that particular area. So we can still go higher in Bitcoin's price as whales possibly sell off. But if it does border across this 0 line here, then it would be a sign for a short-term reversal of some kind. But again, this is a sign things can go higher. Also, total sell side liquidity. How much money is out there right now able to be sold on Bitcoin? If this goes down, it's a good thing. As you can see here back in 2020 and 2021, when this goes up, it's a bad thing. That means that we have whales and we have all types of money, okay, selling money or Bitcoin back into the market. So this going up is a bad thing. You can see back here, it actually helps signal the top of the market. Also back here in 2017, 2018. Now, this has started to stutter and stagger, as you can see like this, which is a sign I've noticed of uncertainty, like you can see back over here in the sort of 8-month consolidation period back in 2024. And also as we begin to trend upwards here, okay, every time we kind of have this staggered, stuttered pattern like back in 2021. So I'm keeping an eye on this. This is stuttering and staggering on the way down, not trending upwards, but it's important to note this, okay? So whatever's happening in terms of how much Bitcoin is able to be sold, it's looking like undecided essentially right now, but this is still good because we are still trending down. You can see OTC desks are running lower and lower. This is what institutions, governments, large private investors use to buy Bitcoin, because if they don't use OTC desks, they have to buy on the open market, which means Bitcoin's price is very, very volatile. We can also see accumulator addresses as well continuing to buy Bitcoin. These are the guys who buy and don't sell, so it's rocketing. And also, we've never had, as many accumulator addresses for Ethereum in its history. You can see here, this is spiking like crazy, way more than back in 2021. So this is a very good sign as well. This means we could possibly be seeing here a slight rotation into phase 2. The third thing is adoption. Here's where things get nutty, and here's where I'm going to share things that I haven't actually shared with you all before. This here is a chart from Statistica, one of the most reputable companies that's gather data, and these guys here show just how fast crypto is gaining adoption. You can see this chart from Statistica shows November of 2024 in this lighter blue color, and their expected number of cryptocurrency users just over 600 million, and their forecast for 2025, yes, this is a slight old report, was way up here in the first quarter at almost 800 million, whilst in the second quarter upwards of 900 million, which is around about where we are at the moment. Now, obviously, and this trajectory would put us at over 1 billion by the end of this year. When you have a look at this compared to the internet adoption, at least back in terms of 2024, being orange here, it's far faster than even the internet. Now, it could be comparable to where we are right now in the 1999 or maybe even 1998 period for the dot-com bubble, but I do think we see a similar rapid growth as we did in the dot-com bubble with crypto for this bull run. You can see here 6.8% of the global population owns cryptocurrencies. It's a 33% increase from 2023. Not 2021's bull run, but 2023. That is incredible, because we simply do have around 30 to 50% more people in crypto in this bull run than we had in even the previous bull run. As a matter of fact, 1 in 5 Americans own cryptocurrency. And believe it or not, 76% of people say crypto has had a positive impact on their lives. I'm sure you guys out there at this moment in time probably have a different opinion. So what I'm trying to put you to here is a very simple equation. I want you to think about this, all right? We have the most ever number of users we've ever had in a crypto bull run so far, at least 50% more than what we had back in 2021. Now, you pair that with a faster growing ecosystem than even the internet was at the exact acceleration point back in 1998 or 1999, so it's peak pretty much. It has never been easier to buy crypto. As a matter of fact, we've seen a recent partnership with MasterCard. Yes, that's one of the top payment processors in the world, and Chainlink, to instantly mint any of your favorite shitcoins on chain. And now we also do have ETFs. We've never had this in the past, have we? So we have unlocked a whole new kind of user into crypto. Now, many people will say, well, Kyron, the ETFs have only brought on stonewalled interest. Well, that's kind of correct. What I mean by this is people only buying Bitcoin and ETH via the ETFs. They have no intention to come into altcoins. In my opinion, I'd much rather have 99% of ETF buyers stay in ETF. Even if 1% of those ETF buyers actually make their way into our altcoins, that's still that percentage more than what we'd have without that. Not to mention as well, we've also had the recent introduction, thanks to Paul Atkins as the SEC chairman, say that he is now offering in-kind redemptions for these ETFs, not just in cash, which means if you buy Bitcoin or ETH ETFs, you can actually receive Bitcoin and ETH back, which means now you can move them into centralized exchanges and maybe even swap them for your shitcoins. Not to mention, as this here says, over the past decade, the number of ETPs, so exchange-traded products, very similar to ETFs, has surged globally, cementing digital assets as a new asset class and giving investors more familiar investment options. 21 Shares is a great example of this. Now, where I'm going with all of this is, again, that equation. We have the ease of buying crypto. We have more people buying crypto. We just have so much more adoption, but yet we won't have any meaningful growth until one very important thing: macro conditions. Macro conditions being people feeling comfortable enough to throw excess capital into crypto. If people can't put food on the table, if people can't pay this week's rent, if people don't have simply put excess capital, money in their savings account, they will not want to put anything in crypto because they just can't afford to. So it's very important looking at the macro that we assess when could this happen. And I believe we'll start to see this trickle through once we begin to see interest rates fall down. Interest rates falling down will lead the gateways to open up for the economy to begin spurring up, okay? So we are expected to have our first 25 basis point cut in September. There's almost 80% odd that this happens. So that's a really good sign to see. We'll have to wait. But if you want to keep up to speed with macro stuff, guys, go follow our macro channel. It's going to be jam-packed full of information, all of actionable alpha, as they say, as the kids say these days. And ultimately, it's just going to allow you to keep glued in with when we can expect this flow of money to really come in the market. Galaxy Digital did a survey not long ago, actually in 2024, asking investors what they thought the most risk-adjusted, so best possible returns with the least amount of risk asset classes were. And cryptocurrencies ranked at 41% here in number 3 spot, which is very, very good. This was particularly given the time frame of over the next 3 years. That includes 2024, 2025, 2026, maybe even into 2027. So, of course, this is when we can likely expect an alt season to come along. This isn't just Bitcoin, guys. This is particularly the broad crypto asset class. Also, and I hate to use some of these charts sometimes, but I just wanted to add some context that this is a great signal here, right? I've used it in the past, a systematic way of investing in crypto. Essentially, it assesses Bitcoin dominance, total 2, total 3, the total market cap, and says, is it a good time to buy altcoins or not? And you can see right now, we are like breaking this chart because we are so close to zero, meaning that it is time to buy altcoins. It's crazy. So I don't think, and the reason why I'm showing this is we're anywhere near an alt season. As you can see here for Bitcoin, it's actually buy a house. Sell your Bitcoin, buy a house. Whereas alts are in a phase of sell your car and buy altcoins, right? So up here towards the red line, you can see we are nowhere near the top of what this cycle could possibly be, which gives me so much confidence. We possibly could have just been so damn early, which this chart here also shows, that we may have accidentally, unintentionally, caught the bottom, the last final sharp drop of the ETH to Bitcoin chart here, which I think is what's happened. We've had a slight rebound here from the range lows, which we've, as Ben Cohen would say, gone home in, which is fantastic. And now we, I think, are on the move upwards. We are firstly needing to recover our altcoins, break bear market highs again, and then move up in alt season. So I wanted to show you 2 different charts looking at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart here, which was number 1, the MACD, all right? So the MACD is about to show a bullish sign that it hasn't shown since way back over here in this green circle in 2020, which was the start of, you could say, again, alt season, ETH going crazy, which of course pulled altcoins up. So the fact that we've bottomed, first of all, down here, and now we're about to have, you can see here, the MACD crossover, where the blue line goes above the signal line in orange. Very, very good sign, a change in momentum here. Not just the MACD as well, but some of our favorite, the RSI. The RSI is also looking quite bullish. You can see here we had a bullish cross where the white line went above the signal line in yellow, helping cause this. And you can see the yellow line down here on the RSI showing that, okay? And now it's crossed over again recently back on this candle. So the same playbook's actually played out here, both in the RSI and the MACD on the ETH to Bitcoin chart. So in addition, we also have social risk at lows. This is assessing YouTube views, YouTube subs, Twitter, so on. And social risk being lows essentially means that we have very low interest in the crypto market to where, again, usually when it goes up, we have high interest. So that means a blow off top. We're nowhere near that. You can see like back in 2021 and 2018, social risk goes crazy because when there's buzz, when there's interest, that means that we're likely hitting the highs of the cycle. Same here with the Google trend as well, all right? Simple Google trend search as well shows that we aren't even near the 2021 high for a crypto search term. We are at a score of about 59. Okay, so 100 here would put us on equal par to 2021, and I believe we will go obviously higher than that, given the massive amounts of adoption we have had. So this is my plea to you. It's to observe the crypto market in different time frames, have a look what the smart money's doing, have a look at the adoption, have a look at the on-chain stats, have a look at the charts, and again, just figure out what could come next. I do believe, as that report from Galaxy Digital said, that we do likely have some of the best risk-adjusted returns still ahead of us We just unfortunately possibly got in a little bit too early where we've had some of that extra downside. So let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And I'd love to know what you think, guys. Stay strong. Stay strong. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.